Hi guys, and welcome to the proposal essay lessons. What I have done is that I've taken parts of the proposal essay and done little individual, smaller, bite-sized lessons of them, so that way, as you work through the essay, you'll know what to do. So pretty much, this is a 4 to 5 page essay with 3 to 5 sources. You're welcome to more sources if you'd like, but definitely no less than 3. This is an essay with several parts to it. And really the whole purpose of the proposal essay, as you well know now, is to look at a problem and try to find a solution for it. And so you were given several subjects, and then in the pre-video before this, last week, you were given some knowledge of the difference between a subject and a topic and how to narrow a subject into a topic. So you've probably done some quick research on it, learned some things, and probably have identified some issues or problems that need solving in your particular topic. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. So we're going to start with the introduction paragraph first. And this is what you're going to need for this essay. I'm simply taking this from the proposal essay chapter from Writing Today. And I'm literally giving you the highlights of this. As the instructions say on D2L, you may want to read the chapter to get more in depth. So I'm giving you kind of the big picture things and maybe highlighting some things that are specific for class. But you're definitely going to want to read the book. So, as you know, there's going to be several videos. This is the second of 4 videos. I think it's 4. When I wrote this, it's 4. It's probably more. You'll see when you get on D2L how many there are. I may or may not count the video I did last week as one of the videos. And this one will focus on the introductory paragraph. So I want to show you this particular outline here, because this is the overall basic outline for the entire paper. You're going to have an introduction, which is what we're doing today. Right now, the next section is going to work on problem analysis, which is going to be the bulk of your research is going to be here. The plan for solving the problem. This is pretty much a make or break for the paper. The benefits of the plan, and that it does include costs, and then the conclusion. So we're going to talk about introduction, and let's talk about it. So as you know from the very first thing you learned on the parts of an essay in this class, there is the hook, then there's the thesis, and then the part of the introduction, it sets up the question. It identifies what the problem is, stresses the importance of solving this problem, and offers a brief description of the proposed solution. This is not where you're going to give me a point by point of your solution, but kind of you're going to give me like the overall gist. So if you're talking about mental illness on college campuses, and maybe your solution is there needs to be an app where students can get information about resources on their campus through the privacy of their app, then that's what you'll say. You'll say, and the basic solution will be an app that will give students information about resources on or near their campus, right? So that's a really good solution. You didn't give me any of the point by point, this is how we're going to do it, this is how much it's going to cost situation in your intro. You're just giving me the big picture thing, and that's great. And so you're going to set that up as your introduction. So let's talk about writing the thesis, because writing this thesis is going to be different than what you've been told about writing theses or thesi. Usually when we're talking about theses, we're talking, or thesis, I guess that's plural, thesis, we're talking about there being 3 things in the thesis, and the color of the flag is red, white, and blue, and then red would be one body paragraph, white would be another body paragraph, and blue would be another body paragraph. And it gives you your whole structure, and it makes sense, right? It's very much like compare and contrast. This thesis is going to be different because you're not going to want to have those three prongs or those three things in there because there's already a structure that's very, very strict. You're not going to need it there. You are going to have you're going to have different parts of the thesis though. You're going to have the actual topic. You're going to have the purpose of things, the purpose of the paper, and then the solution. So here's some examples. This is a very basic example. There are better examples in this presentation, but just a very basic example. The only way to eliminate gas emissions here on campus is to develop new sources of clean, renewable energy. So what is in orange is the topic. Topic is gas emissions, right? And the purpose is that you want to fully get rid of them on campus. So that's the whole purpose of it. And so the solution is these new ways of clean and renewable energy. So there's three parts to it, but not in the way that we've learned in the past or that you've learned probably in your high school English classes. So here's another thing of the thesis. You want to, again, narrow your subject to a topic. If you have not done so, you cannot move on. If you say are going to do mental illness and you haven't picked a topic under mental illness to think about, then your paper is already not going to do well. So definitely narrow it to a topic. You may want to go back to the video from last week and learn a little bit about subjects versus topics. You want to create a research question from the topic. Remember, it's not a yes or no question. So again, go back to the video if you haven't done so. And then you want to create possible and plausible solutions. For example, you don't want to say, I want to fix mental illness on campus by giving everybody medicine when they first sign up for classes. Well, that doesn't make sense. That's not plausible, and that's not possible, and that's just not right. So you definitely want to create possible and plausible solutions. And it could be an app, it could be, and I like apps because there's apps for everything, and that's something that is very actionable. You do not say anything like, oh, we need to build awareness or bring awareness or let people know about this issue, because that's not actionable. So you're going to do a poster, great, and you can put stuff on Facebook or Snapchat. Yeah, that's great. That's kind of very passive, really. So you want to have very possible and plausible solutions, an actual solution, right? Here is another example of the thesis, and I'm harping on the thesis because it's a little bit different than what you've done in the past, okay? So here's a very weak example of a thesis. Our campus should convert to alternative energy. Okay, it's weak because it doesn't say how, it doesn't say why, it doesn't really give me the topic, so that's why it's weak. I would say a strength of the weakness is that it's very, the tone is very straightforward, and that's kind of what you want. You kind of want that tone, but you want the pieces of it. So this is a stronger one. The best solution to the problem would be to create a cool campus project that replaces our campus existing coal fire plant with a local electricity grid that combines an off-campus wind farm with a network of solar panel on all campus buildings. That's a much stronger thesis because not only does it give me what the topic is, which is trying to replace the coal fire plant. Not only does it do that, it gives me a little bit of the solution, and it gives me everything that it needs, right? So that's why it's a stronger thesis. So let's talk about writing the introduction, and this is really, really short here. So the intro, the whole introductory paragraph. Now, keep in mind that the intro is a paragraph. When we get to the other sections of this paper, I'm going to say that this is a section, which means there could be several paragraphs in the section. For this particular section, there's only one paragraph, okay, and that's the intro. So it's going to state the topic. Yay, it's going to tell the reader what the proposal is about. It's going to state the purpose in 1 or 2 sentences. It's going to give me some context, you know, give me some background. Why is this important? If your topic is mental illness on college campuses, maybe you have a really good stat that you found in your research, and maybe it says something like 50% of college students suffer from mental illness and don't know it because they've not had the proper screening, right? So that's a really interesting stat. That gives me purpose. That's a good background information and tells me, hey, this is really important, right? So remind yourselves of that great background information, that context. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Context is everything. You want to stress the importance of the topic to readers, tell readers why they should care about this topic, and that again goes with context as well. If you give us great context, great information, you will tell us why it's important automatically. And of course, you're going to state your thesis, which is straightforward, and it summarizes your plan and explains why it will succeed. And that's important. Why will this app about mental illness will succeed? Well, students will have access to resources that they may not know or may be too afraid to access. See how that works? So that's the intro lesson. So I will stop this now so we can go on to the next one. So I hope this was helpful.